Hi guys, this is week 17 Project Life, and this week I'm doing a bit of procrastinating. At this point in time, I'm supposed to be packing up my room ready to move in 2 days' time, but instead I decided to do a week of Project Life. So the only supplies that I sort of had handy to me at this point were some of these Ellie Edward kits. I think I've got the home and the change kit here, so that's what I'm going to work with. I've got my photos and I'm just picking out a few cards and shuffling my photos as need be. This is going to be one of those weeks where I don't add, well, I was going to say a lot of journaling, but I don't add any journaling at all. I really just want to get this one done and in the books as quickly as possible. And there wasn't a lot to say this week. It wasn't a particularly eventful week. We were just getting on with the business of getting on with life, really. So I'm just going to go with the flow, and if I'm not adding journaling, I'm not going to stress about it. This is the basic layout for my page. I really like that feels like home card. It fit my photo perfectly. That was a lucky coincidence. There's a few coincidences this week. A lot of eyeballing goes on this week, and not all of it is successful, as you'll see later on. These are little acetate houses, and I'm just going to add a pink one because I've got a pink card and that sort of orange card and then kind of that rainbowy pattern up the top. But once I start adding these chipboard pieces, a lot of orange and pink happens. So if I'm gonna call it a colour scheme, that's the colour scheme that's gonna happen this week. I've actually stopped getting these kits now because I just don't need any more supplies, really, do I? But the thing that really annoys me, and even more now when I look back through it, is just the amount of plastic packaging that is in these kits. Every little thing is in one of those plastic bags, and annoyingly they're so hard to get open, and then it's just so wasteful throwing away all that plastic. So I have subscribed to the digital kits instead, and that way I get all the fun bits and pieces, but none of the hassle of waiting for shipping, and none of this plastic waste either. Now I did remember to peel off the little acetate, it's not acetate, the acetate piece has like this clear plastic coating on it, plastic again, and I did remember to peel that off before I just stapled it down. I think that's the easiest way to deal with those acetate pieces. The chipboard pieces I'm going to try and sort of stick off to the side of my photos and then trim that down. Ellie herself does that a lot, and I agree with her that I like the way that it plays with the edge of the photo. This wee rubber piece just didn't quite stand out enough on my photo on its own, so I used one of the glassine bags that came in the kit and just die cut a little circle, but one wasn't enough, and luckily I had die cut both sides of that glassine bag in one go, so I had two. So I'm adding both of them and then adding the rubber piece on top. And again, like the acetate, I think the easiest way to stick that down is just to staple it. I have tried gluing those rubber pieces before, but the glue almost sort of melts off them, I find, and they can come away. Adding one sticker to that photo, so you can see I've got quite a heavy circle theme going on, which I quite like every now and then. I don't tend to purposefully pick circles that often, but when it happens like this, I really enjoy them. So I did remember to stick down the last chipboard piece up the top there, which often doesn't happen until I finish filming and go to take photos and realise I've forgotten to stick something down, but I've managed this time, so I can move on to my title card. Now, I grabbed out these cork numbers, which were perfect, and I just wanted to add a circle of some type to this top card as well. I thought I'd cheat and use a piece of that Today's Goal pad paper, which is too thin because my punch is a little bit blunt, I think, at this point. So instead I grabbed out just some plain white card and punched that out, but it turns out the punch wasn't really big enough anyway, so I just ran that through my Cuttlebug machine just to get a slightly bigger circles before I stick that down with my numbers on top. Now again, I'm just eyeballing where I've put the circle, and you'll see here I didn't eyeball it correctly, so I go to add my alphas, and these are just some really old thickers I found in my stash there. not wide enough to fit it on that card, so I did have to peel that circle off and stick it back down again, but actually it peeled off really nicely. It didn't rip anything, so that was fine. And I feel like I'm done, except then I realise I haven't date stamped it, and I kind of really want to keep trying to do that every week. So I just grabbed out a little pre-cut label. Those are just stamped from the Labels 101 set from Kelly Stamps. I don't think that's available anymore, but the Labels 102 stamp set is, so grab that, they're really handy. And again, here's some more eyeballing. This is the only time my eyeballing worked out this week. I didn't measure how big my label was, I just stamped it and it fit perfectly. I'm really pleased to be able to get this in the books. That means I'm almost up to date, so hopefully while I'm moving I won't get too far behind. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. There's a couple more videos on screen if you want to keep watching. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye.